podcast where we dive into some of the most intriguing research papers stirring academic circles today. I'm your host, Richard Price, CEO of Academia.edu, and today we're exploring some thought-provoking ideas with Robin Kaczmarczyk's paper titled Which Way, White Man? Now, before we begin, I just want to say my job here is to present and explore these ideas in a neutral way. Definitely not to endorse them, just kind of roll them around and see what insights we might glean. So, what's the core question of this paper, you might wonder? Well, it seems to grapple with the identity crisis and perceived existential threats faced. Well, Kaczmarczyk suggests this might be due to intermixing political dynamics and, what he seems to frame as cultural and genetic dilution, quite the cocktail of academic controversy. The author starts by reflecting on personal experiences and how heritage and upbringing shape one's view of race and identity. Robin takes us on a journey filled with familial anecdotes that blend humour and pathos, talking about everything from gingers to the roles of certain American religious figures. He touches on how notions of whiteness include both genetic and spiritual elements, which kind of stirs the pot. While some ideas can be contentious, they're presented with a sort of exploratory vigour. How does the paper argue its points, you ask? Well, Kaczmarczyk discusses the problematic notion that whites don't have the same sort of cohesive cultural unity others might. The argument unfolds with historical examples ranging from the rise and fall of Nazi Germany to contemporary cultural shifts in America and Europe. It's like a tapestry of provocations aiming to unravel the complex narrative surrounding whiteness and its apparent decline. One key finding, or perhaps it's more of an argument, is the claim that the multicultural push in traditionally white societies is leading to a sort of identity crisis. The paper postulates that this results in a weakening of racial and cultural identities, which might threaten these groups with extinction. Yet, rather than offering a straightforward solution, the work serves more to highlight and critique perceived flaws in globalism and multicultural policies as they relate to the white ethnic identity. Taking a step back, Kaczmarczyk's paper also touches on eugenics and genetic engineering, which could get a little hairy considering history, right? There's a curious emphasis on understanding genetic predispositions and cultural legacies, proposing rather controversial ideas about genetic trait preservation as a potential future direction. It's almost a deep dive into genetics, culture, and, hey, have you ever thought of what it would be like if humans could choose every aspect of their identity from a genetic standpoint? Kind of like choosing menu options. Just a thought, but what does this all mean for listeners like you? This paper, while deeply entrenched in controversial discourse, challenges us to think critically about identity, and cultural preservation. It's less about accepting conclusions and more about questioning our understanding of these concepts. It's about how we navigate these waters in a world that's increasingly interconnected. Now let's talk transition to the paper's concluding thoughts. It seems to pivot towards the idea of creating ethnostates and recognizing certain genetic identifiers as key to racial survival. Definitely complex, definitely something to chew on. Is the future of race and cultural identity really about drawing new maps, or is it more about recognizing differences while embracing common humanity? Kaczmarczyk seems to throw this open for debate rather than offering clear solutions. Anyway, in the human kingdom, understanding, cooperation, and peace are somehow intertwined with self-preservation and identity. It seems like a tall order balancing act, right? Well, the paper closes with an appeal to racial realists, presumably arguing that acknowledgement and respect across racial lines are essential for mutual survival. It's all quite heady stuff that demands reflection, or maybe a cup of coffee. Well, we've covered quite the spectrum today, haven't we? Absorbing these provocative and multifaceted topics from Robin Kaczmarczyk's paper is like catching fragments of a conversation we've been having globally about race, identity, and the future. Remember, this is about engaging with these ideas critically, not taking them as gospel truth. Academic research is, after all, a catalyst for thought and dialogue. Thank you for joining me, folks, on this whirlwind of a discussion here on In Depth with Academia. Keep exploring, questioning, and thinking deeply. Until next time, This is Richard Price, signing off. Have a brilliant day.